All right, I'm gonna let it rip if you're good.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
What's been going on? Hey there, Ben. How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me today, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem. How was your directions this year generally? You get everything you wanted? You meet everybody on your list?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, the first thing they shared in one of the general sessions was just how many people they had there and how it was the
Yeah.
biggest ever in terms of attendance, right? And I think based on when it was booked versus how many people showed up, it was a little tight, right? Because there were so many people there. So excited to see that it's continuously growing. That's what I get most out of it, I would say, is just,
Yep.
seeing people because we only get a couple times a year to all get together and do that kind of stuff. So always love to do that. And then, of course, all the new things that they roll out and show you from a
Yep.
Microsoft standpoint, since they're I think almost half or just shy of half, something like that. I can't remember what the stat was of the speakers were from uh, Microsoft.
Like it
Yeah.
does feel like the
So
one time of the year where you get direct interaction with Microsoft. Obviously, the theme for I don't know, the past 12 months has been AI in pretty much every conversation that you have. Every keynote I've attended in the past year has leaned in pretty heavily into AI. So I don't know if you have any notes on the specific things they talked about in regards to Copilot. I think I've got a next slide about Copilot specifically, but yeah. What were your top news on Copilot and general integration of AI through the stack? What were the things that stood out to you?
yeah, I mean it's all they've been talking about for the last 6 months for sure. Definitely, probably even the last 12 months, like you mentioned. But that was the
Yeah.
hot topic, in my opinion, from everything we saw between that and what Business Central has. I think there's still a lot more to come. I personally think it's
Yeah.
still kind of primitive right now. I think if you know how to use it right now, it's awesome and it can help save you time, right? Like even with the analyze view, that came out in V23, I believe. And in
Hmm.
my opinion, it was kind of hard to use for end users, right? Like it was kind of like a pivot table in Excel, but it was kind of tedious and you had to know where to go. With Copilot now, I can in natural language type in, I'm on my customer ledger entries and I can say,
Hmm.
create me a view of all my customer invoices and include, these three dimensions and total it and give me a column for the dates when I drill down, right? And
Yeah.
again, it works. But even with that, I found if you don't use the right words or tell it exactly what to do yet, it's still it still might not return exactly what you're looking for. And that's just kind of like bringing clients back down to earth and on some things, right? Because they see the marketing buzz, which again, I love it. It's where everything's
Yeah.
headed, but I just I'm a realist, so I like to be real.
And I
But
do get why Microsoft is so all in on all their presentations on this stuff. It's not just to like capitalize on the buzz. It does really feel like to me that this like space, like the dynamics generally, or F&O and BC, like, the whole Microsoft ERP stack, it's in a position to capitalize on this stuff like no other platform can. I don't know. It's one of the reasons I'm excited to be in this particular space is it feels like the connectivity of everything really is the standout feature, and like the ability to connect AI tools into this is going to become more and more important as time goes on. Microsoft kind of has a secret sauce here that is going to be extremely hard for other people to replicate.
yeah,
Wrapping up just sort of general news and things, the environment transfer is something else that I don't, did they just announce that?
they announced it for the first time at Directions, and I actually about a week before Directions, a client came to me with this exact use case, and I had read
Hmm.
an article probably a month ago. So I'm guessing it came out like 3 to 4 weeks ago, or like
Yep.
maybe 3 to 4 weeks before Directions, something like that. I like this because for clients, they don't ever want to pay like a ton of hours to do something that's just like following instructions, right? They want it to be easy. And I think a lot of things like this are making it easier so that we like don't need to spend an unnecessary, 20, 30 hours to do something like this. We can just
Yep.
click a few buttons and it works for the more common things. And I always like to, tell people too, if they're, uh, like I'm excited about the future for all the AI stuff and everything that Business Central is doing, but it's like this is the worst that it's ever going to be, right? Tomorrow it's going
Hmm.
to be better, next month it's going to be better, 6 months from now it's going to be better, like, and a year ago it was worse than it is today.
That was another thing that we mentioned. I think it was probably the youngest any Microsoft conference I've been to has been as well, which also, youth isn't everything, but it certainly adds to the buzz when the mean age in the channel goes down a little bit. It's good to see the younger generation's excited too, which leads in pretty nicely to one of the sessions I went to. I guess this is a consolidation of several marketing sessions I went to, all under the vague umbrella of a theme of millennials are way more important in the buying process than people assume at this point, which kind of charts with everything that I've encountered. But the one data point on it is at this point in like, SMB space, that 40% of the decision makers that are actually making buying decisions are already millennials. It is the single largest purchaser decision demographic that exists in this channel currently. And that's another reason why I think Microsoft is doing all of the things that they do around BC to make everything as self-service, as click to set up, as do follow this guide and you can just do everything yourself to some degree. And that's why they're pushing all the ISVs to go that direction too, is that's what millennials want.
I almost prefer the having to actually go through it and learn about it sometimes, because I think sometimes when it is just click and go, whereas if you go through, and we sell apps as well, and like I said, with a financial dashboard or something, 80% of it already works. Okay, well, if somebody goes in and plugs it in and they never read the manual or they never call us, they're only going to get that 80%, right? Because they never went further, but the 80% worked. Is that extra 20% can really add a lot of value, because they're configuration elements to the app that really give it some more horsepower.
And that's kind of on us at a certain point, right? As app developers, it's like, how do we make that last 20% as frictionless as possible? And that was one of the huge discussion points on all of this, is like, if it doesn't feel self-service, you can go set it up and try it out. You're going to lose a huge majority of your like younger, aka millennial buyers right out of the gate. And it's like, okay, there's 10 solutions to this one problem. One of them I can just set up and see it work. Like, it's pretty obvious the one that you're going to pick, and that self-service is like going to become more and more important to this as time goes on, I think.
And I mean, too, with that buying decision piece, right? I think it's not only that they're making the decisions, that it has to be easy, but the acceleration at which decisions are made, right? There's not these, I mean, there probably still are a lot of like the longer term assessments and like system selections and things like that. But, if this is the way that it's going, those decisions will also be able to be made much quicker. And I know Microsoft's doing a lot with kind of, more rapid deployments of Business Central, so that you can get a trial of Business Central and you can kind of self-implement. Like, I always think, if you're going to self-implement, still have an advisor.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between like full self-service and like, I just want to see it work before I talk to somebody and get guidance.
If I had to bet on what one of the keynotes is next directions, I would probably say these rapidly deployed Business Central implementations is going to be one of them. So if you want to place a side bet on it, Kevin, we can do it offline.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you a LinkedIn for the inside dirt before I place that bet. So I was looking through my notes on this. I don't think this is necessarily in order of importance. These are just the 7 key things that matter in terms of getting your app source listing optimized. That's what I want to talk to you about. We've got this list of things. What's your opinion on what actually matter the most to get you up that page rank?
When I look at the apps that we sell on AppSource, again, we're still trying to get on page 1. I don't know what the secret formula is to get there. We got a few apps on page 2, which again, you'd think in order, your most popular app would be the first one listed, even if it's only on page 2, right? But
doesn't seem to be the case though.
If you're scrolling through, the first app that you see of ours is, we have 28 apps on AppSource. So that one is probably number 5 in terms of clicks. It's 5 in terms of downloads. It only has like 2 or 3 reviews, but it's the first one they see. So maybe the title's good. The publisher name's the same on all of them, so that doesn't matter for me. So on that one, maybe my title's good, or my headline's good, or my categories are good. But it seems that those things, which maybe this list is in order, because that would outweigh popularity and solution rating, right? Which in my opinion, 4 and 6 there, to me as a buyer, those are the most important. I don't care about the title.
I would think so too. Yeah, that's all I would be looking at. But maybe we're millennial brain, right? Amazon. Right. Like, Amazon. I don't buy anything that's less than 4.7.
Again, every name on that first page you're probably going to recognize.
And in my experience,
ISVs that have been around a long time.
Yeah, in my experience, it does chart that title is the most important thing. We've been playing around with it, tweaking that, and just seeing how things go. And it's a matter of aligning your title to make it what people are searching for. It's been more important than pretty much everything else, which I think is interesting, that you just gotta, sort of wordsmith the name that finds the right people. Easy way to boost your views on these things is to just make sure that you're linking to it from your own personal marketing site, and you're linking to it from your like content that you're posting on other marketing platforms or LinkedIn or whatever, but actually link to the app source listings themselves, because that'll drive traffic, and traffic drives popularity, which can then obviously contribute to bumping you up those rankings.
Yeah, for sure.
So the other session I went to that I thought was interesting, and has huge potential for people like us specifically, is the page scripting for UAT in BC. Um, it's in beta technically, but it really felt like it could totally test our app end to end, like as it exists in its current state, which is pretty amazing. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's got conditional steps where it'll like check the value of something in BC. If it's not 500 and it's supposed to be, it'll like pause the script and let you know that it errored out. Just in the demo I saw, I think it's fully capable for pretty much anything I would want it for. Anytime you can save UAT steps and save testing to get quicker rollouts of things is always a good thing. I don't know if you went to that session. I don't think I saw you there.
No, I didn't, but I've seen some stuff about this online as well, and I've
Yeah.
seen some examples. Again, I haven't played with it too much, but it looks promising. Sweet. Sounds good.
So it was pretty quick. Basically, there were some things that some murmurs I heard around, and some vague references during the keynotes that relate to ISVs and how that relates to Copilot specifically. One is like you can add Copilot directly to your ISV offering. Still no details on that, but it's a pretty cool thing. Get in that Copilot space directly. And then the other thing that I've heard through talking to people, and I think was also vaguely referenced in one of the keynotes, is the ability to talk to Copilot and ask for actual apps on App Source or ISV recommendations. We are approaching a world where the first thing you do when you want a new piece of software is you go talk to insert chatbot here
Yeah.
and ask what you should do. And all of them are claiming that there's no like pay to win model that exists like Google has, right? Like, oh, we got to get our Google ads in order, or whatever the case maybe. Used to be how it used to work. And I don't know how this paradigm is going to shake out. I'm not sure anybody does, but I don't think we're very far away from that being the first step for your average person of, oh, I need a report dashboard for BC. I'm just going to ask Copilot what I should do. Like, it doesn't feel very far-fetched. That's going to be the norm very, very soon. And I'm not sure anybody knows what that means yet. So that's going to be extremely interesting to see how all this shakes out.
We'll see how it goes.
Ben, thanks a million for hopping on this. It's always interesting talking to your perspective. Always good to hear your insights. And I look forward to seeing you at the next one, whenever it is.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.